Hi everybody, Debbie here. Welcome back to the channel. I am going to work in a brand new book. So I think this one, I'm not going to journal in this one. The journal book that I usually work in is this size. And I do a art journal page here, and then I do journaling. I just do a brain dump on that side. And I thought I wanted to do some in-between pieces, some smaller pieces. And I got this little notebook. So it's got a nice heavy backer board on it. I thought it would be a smaller piece that I could take with me when I travel. I'm actually thinking about going away for a couple of months, and I want to take just a small amount of crafting and journaling stuff with me. So I thought that this size might just be a really good size to work in. And it's just a very plain notebook. I found this on Amazon. It was $5, I think. I will link this in the description. And it's just a really, really good size, I think. Now, because it has this kind of craft cardstock cover, I can decorate the cover as well, but I'm not going to do that until I'm done. And this is the size that I've got to work with. I really love the double wire coil. I think that that is a really nice binding, but this is a decent quality paper, and I kind of like that it's this creamy color. It's not this stark white. So I'm going to do my pages, I'm just going to shove a piece of this in here so that I can not slop over my edges. So just the other day, I made a bunch of papers, just these brightly colored papers for collaging. And I thought I would do something really nice and bright. And I have this Fairies in Bloom here. And I'm wondering, can I find a nice big fairy that I really like that I could put on a nice bold vivid colored background? So look at her. She is very, very simple. She's a good size for this page. So she's a possibility. Ooh, she's a possibility too. She's really pretty. Kind of like the neutral of this one though. I think it's going to be this one. Grab my scissors. Even the flower that she's sitting on is very neutral. So I'm going to cut her out. Whoops. I'm going to shove that back under there. And yeah, she's a good size for this piece of paper. This is, what did I say the size of this? It's 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So you could do a really good 5 by 7 on here and have a little bit of a border. So I don't think I want red or bright fuchsia. Let's see if I can sort some of these colors out. I do kind of like the orange and green and yellow. I've got this green and this green as well. But I kind of like these really bright colors. And will she look kind of cool on top of there? And I think I'm going to put a little bit of this gray in as well, just to tone it down. So I'm going to collage on here to start with, using my collage papers that I made. I just wanted to show you what you can do with these papers. So like all of my pieces, I am going to use my matte Mod Podge to glue this on here. I'm going to do a strip like this across the top first off, because I want a nice kind of a straight edge, and I'm not going to put it over the holes that go around my coil, but I will put it right up to the holes. So this is the only one that I'm going to glue down like this. So I'm noticing there's a little bit of bleed on this. It's kind of coming out a little bit yellow on here. I'm going to do a little bit of the green. Now, some of these papers were made with the ink stamps. I want a little bit of this yellow because I do want some of this music paper in here. So I'm getting a little bit of bleed from this orange, which was, what was the orange? The orange was the Dilutions ink spray, and it's supposed to be a permanent ink. So that's okay. I don't care. I mean, it's not a deal breaker for me. Yeah, it's not a deal breaker, but it is good to note. So I wouldn't use those sprays again. I'm trying to make sure intentionally that this is really ragged edges, and I like that I've got music and book page in this. And I think I'm going to go back to the green. And put just a little bit more of this book page down here. And it's not rainbow. I mean, it's only 3 colors, and I did put that piece of charcoal gray in there to break it up in the middle. But yeah, I do kind of like the whole look. So let's let this dry a little bit and then trim it out and see what it looks like. So that's quite interesting so far for a background. Now I want to tone this down a little bit and spruce it up at the same time. And to do that, I'm going to grab some of this spun gold Crafters acrylic paint from Deco Art. And I am going to put just a little dot there. And I'm not going to brush it on my paper, just like I did that last. Wow. I'm loving how it looks brushed over and catching the lines. Now I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to give it a quick dry. Okay, I have my gold paint on here. I want a butterfly on here, but I don't want any color in it. In fact, I might want a couple of butterflies on here. So I'm just going to throw this stamp onto this acrylic block. And I am going to use my archival ink because I don't want this to run. And I'm going to see if I can get this on here in a couple of different places. So I think I want it up here. Wow, that's really cool. I also think I want it down at the bottom as well, just once. Now, when you've got an uneven surface like this, if you want your image to show up, you've got to put it on there and give it a good press and hold it for a second. Let that ink really transfer. So I'm going to take that one off. And I've got a couple of little solid ones here. So I think I'm going to do this one. And like that. And I've got this one too that's not quite as solid, but it's a little different. And I'm going to stamp off the edge of my page with this one, like that. And I think that's lots. So I think I've got a lot of what I want on my background. Now I want to push all my background back. So just like I did on my postcards, because I absolutely loved using that method, I'm going to mix a little wee bit of modeling paste, just a little bit. That's starting to get a little bit hard. This modeling paste, like I said, I kind of got it at a yard sale many, many years ago and then didn't use it. So I'm trying to use my stash up. So to remedy how thick this is, mixing it with some acrylic paint is going to thin it down and make it more like plaster. So a little more of this paint, just a drop. See if that helps. I'm just going to squirt just a tiny little bit of water in this as well. And I'm going to take my piece So one of the things that I have is this walnut stain. And I'm putting the tiniest little bit on there. And it needs to be wet. I'm going to stir this up with the water because I really want stain. I don't want paint. Now, if I put this like this along the edge, will it run? Not if it's not wet enough. So I am going to add some water on here and see what happens. Now, I've got lots of water on here. Can I make this run on my page? This almost looks like hot chocolate, this walnut stain. A little bit of that ink is running. I don't want this all over. I'm just going to put it in spots and let it make its own little mess. And that's really what it's doing too. So do you remember when I did the paints, how once I dried them, it went lighter? I don't want this to get anywhere else. So let's clean that up. And then now it really does need a dry. So I've cut out my fairy, and now I want to put like an aura behind her. A white. I missed a crucial step here that I absolutely should have done before, and I've been doing it, so I don't know why I missed it here. When I had my background done, I should have put a layer of gesso on top of this, and that would have sealed it down, and then when I started doing this, I would have been able to pick some of this paint back up, and now I'm not going to be able to. So I can still see my colors behind this very faintly, but I can still see them. So I'm not going to call it a complete loss, but I really wish I had have done that step. I think this is dry enough to continue working on. So I need a border, and I think I am just going to do a stitched border, something very simple. So I just did some little dots and dashes all the way around using my permanent marker that I usually use. And I'm going to cover up just this main area right here and put my black splatter pretty much everywhere else. This is a pill bottle because the lid comes on really, really tight and I like it. And it's about half paint and half water. Now, do I want a little more water in this to make the splatter a little finer? Maybe I do. there. I think that'll work. And then I just think I want a phrase on here for a sentiment. A dream is a wish your heart makes. So maybe I'll put that in here. No journey is too great if you find what you seek. So I'm going to use my Sharpie pen because it's got a fine point on it. Now, you probably just saw that. I was trying to make a nice, neat line. It didn't work. I kind of caught the edge of one of the background papers and made a wonky line there. So, to fix it, I just did a sketchy line around instead. So, yeah, make it look like it was intentional, guys. Yeah, never let on and just make it look like it was intentional. So, I think I'm going to call this one done. A couple of things just in figuring out how to do this is that the Dilutions ink spray does run. So far, the Inktense pencils haven't run, and the permanent ink pad by Diane Reevely did not run. If you want to go back and see how I made these colored papers. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd love if you did that before you left. Come on back and see what else I'm up to. And until then, bye-bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.